Food chain with a cult following, at least a cult-like following, and a good track record when it comes to cleanliness, well, until now.
You probably think Chick-fil-A is just another fast food chain serving crispy chicken sandwiches with a smile. Maybe you've heard they're closed on Sundays, or that their customer service is supposedly better than the competition. But what if I told you that behind those red and white signs and "my pleasure" responses lies a story that might change how you think about your next chicken sandwich? But here's what Chick-fil-A doesn't want you to discover: the hidden practices, questionable ingredients, and corporate decisions that could make you think twice before pulling into that drive-thru line. I spent weeks investigating what really goes on behind the scenes at America's favorite chicken chain, talking to former employees, reviewing health inspection reports, and uncovering industry practices that most customers never hear about. What I found will surprise you, and it might just change where you decide to spend your money. By the end of this video, you'll know the truth about what's really in that chicken sandwich, how they treat their workers, and why your next meal at Chick-fil-A could cost more than just the price on the menu. Because when it comes to fast food transparency, the truth should always be on the table. Let's start with what you're actually eating when you bite into that famous chicken sandwich. You probably assume it's fresh, high-quality chicken prepared with care. The reality is more complicated than their marketing suggests. Chick-fil-A sources their chicken from massive industrial farms that prioritize volume over quality. These aren't the small family farms their advertising might make you picture. We're talking about facilities that house tens of thousands of birds in cramped conditions. But here's where it gets concerning. Former employees have revealed that the chicken arrives at restaurants pre-marinated and pre-breaded, often frozen solid. One worker from a Georgia location said, "We didn't marinate anything fresh. The chicken came in bags, already soaked in brine solution, and we just had to thaw it and cook it." That signature taste you love? It's not from some secret family recipe passed down through generations. It's from a standardized marinade that includes MSG, sodium phosphates, and other flavor enhancers designed to make processed chicken taste better than it actually is. The hand-breaded claim is technically true, but misleading. While employees do bread the chicken by hand, they're using pre-mixed breading that comes from industrial suppliers. The process is more like assembly line work than traditional cooking. A former kitchen manager revealed, "During busy periods, we'd bread hundreds of pieces at once and let them sit for hours before cooking. The chicken would get soggy, but we'd cook it anyway because throwing it out would hurt our food costs." Health inspection reports from multiple locations have flagged issues with chicken storage temperatures and cross-contamination. In one case, a Florida location was cited for keeping raw chicken at unsafe temperatures for over 2 hours during a lunch rush. The oil used for frying is changed less frequently than you might expect. Former employees report that during busy periods, the same oil is used for 12 to 16 hours straight, leading to chicken that tastes increasingly greasy and bitter as the day goes on. You might think you're making a healthier choice by eating at Chick-fil-A compared to other fast food chains, but a closer look at their ingredients tells a different story. That chicken sandwich contains over 40 different ingredients, many of which you probably can't pronounce. We're talking about calcium propionate, sodium aluminum phosphate, and TBHQ, chemicals more commonly found in industrial food processing than in your kitchen. But the real shock comes when you look at the sodium content. A single Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich contains over 1,350 milligrams of sodium. That's more than half your daily recommended intake in one sandwich. Add their waffle fries and a sauce, and you're looking at a meal with more sodium than you should consume in an entire day. The premium ingredients they advertise aren't as premium as they sound. The pickles are mass-produced and loaded with preservatives. The buns contain high fructose corn syrup and enough sugar to qualify as dessert bread in some countries. Their famous Chick-fil-A sauce? It's essentially mayonnaise mixed with barbecue sauce and honey mustard, but it contains 13 grams of fat and 140 calories in a single packet. Most people use 2 or 3 packets per meal, turning their healthy chicken into a calorie bomb. A nutritionist who analyzed Chick-fil-A's menu found that their grilled chicken options, marketed as healthy alternatives, contain almost as much sodium as their fried chicken due to the heavy use of seasoning salts and preservatives. The sweet tea that many customers love contains 31 grams of sugar in a small cup. That's more sugar than in a can of Coca-Cola. A large sweet tea has 81 grams of sugar, which is equivalent to eating 20 sugar cubes. Former employees have reported that the fresh lemonade is made from concentrate, not fresh lemons, and contains artificial flavoring to enhance the taste. One worker said, "We'd mix the concentrate with water and add extra sugar." Customers thought they were getting fresh squeezed lemonade, but it was basically flavored sugar water. Behind those smiling faces and "my pleasure" responses lies a workplace culture that many former employees describe as problematic. While Chick-fil-A markets itself as a family-friendly company with Christian values, the reality for workers is often quite different. Multiple former employees have reported being scheduled for just under 40 hours per week to avoid paying benefits, a common practice in the fast food industry, but one that contradicts the company's stated values about caring for employees. But the pressure to maintain that famous customer service comes at a cost. Workers are required to say, "my pleasure," instead of "you're welcome," and failure to do so can result in disciplinary action. Former employees describe a workplace where they're constantly monitored and criticized for not smiling enough or not being enthusiastic enough. One former manager revealed, "We had secret shoppers come in regularly to test employees. If someone didn't say my pleasure or wasn't deemed friendly enough, they'd get written up. The pressure was constant." The company's policy of being closed on Sundays is often praised, but many employees report that this actually makes their work weeks more stressful. With only 6 days to meet weekly sales targets, the pressure during operating days is intense. Former workers have described mandatory unpaid training sessions, where they're required to learn company policies and procedures on their own time. One employee said, "They called it investing in your future, but we weren't getting paid to sit through hours of training videos." The starting wages, while slightly higher than some competitors, often don't keep up with the cost of living in many areas where Chick-fil-A operates. Workers report struggling to afford basic necessities despite working full-time hours. A former employee from Texas shared, "They talk about treating employees like family, but when my car broke down and I couldn't get to work for 2 days, they fired me." Some family. The company's health insurance options are limited and expensive for most entry-level workers. Many employees report going without health coverage because they can't afford the premiums on their Chick-fil-A wages. While Chick-fil-A generally maintains a cleaner image than many fast food chains, health inspection reports tell a more complicated story about what really goes on behind the scenes. Multiple locations across the country have been cited for violations ranging from improper food storage temperatures to employees not washing hands between tasks. These aren't isolated incidents. They're part of a pattern that suggests systemic issues. But the problems go beyond basic cleanliness. Former employees have reported pressure to cut corners during busy periods. One worker described being told to skip proper hand-washing procedures during lunch rushes to keep the line moving faster. A health inspector in North Carolina found that a Chick-fil-A location was storing raw chicken above ready-to-eat items, a basic food safety violation that could lead to serious contamination. The restaurant continued operating while addressing the violation. The ice machines, which are rarely visible to customers, have been flagged in multiple inspections for mold and bacterial growth. One former employee posted photos showing black slime inside an ice machine that was still being used to serve customers. Kitchen equipment maintenance is often deferred to save costs. Former workers report using fryers with broken temperature controls, leading to chicken that's either undercooked or burnt, depending on the equipment's mood that day. The pressure to maintain fast service times means that proper cleaning procedures are often rushed or skipped entirely. One former manager admitted, "We were supposed to clean and sanitize surfaces every hour, but during busy periods that just didn't happen." Cross-contamination between raw and cooked foods is a recurring issue. Employees report using the same gloves to handle raw chicken and then prepare salads or other ready-to-eat items without changing gloves. A viral video from a former employee showed the process of cleaning the chicken fryers at the end of the day. The oil was so dirty, it looked like motor oil, and the cleaning process involved scraping off layers of burnt food particles that had been accumulating all day. Beyond the food and workplace issues, Chick-fil-A's corporate practices have raised questions that go far beyond chicken sandwiches. The company's history of political donations and social stances has created controversies that many customers are unaware of. But the corporate culture issues run deeper than political donations. Former corporate employees have described a workplace culture that prioritizes image over substance. One former marketing executive said, "Everything was about maintaining the brand image, even when it meant covering up problems or misleading customers." The company's franchise model has been criticized for being overly restrictive and expensive. Potential franchisees must go through an extensive vetting process that many describe as invasive, and the ongoing fees and restrictions make it difficult for many franchise owners to be profitable. A former franchise owner revealed, "They control everything: your suppliers, your prices, your marketing, even your hiring decisions. You're basically paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to be a manager of their restaurant." The company's expansion strategy has been criticized for targeting low-income communities while pricing many residents out of regular visits. Critics argue that this creates food deserts where healthy, affordable options are limited. Chick-fil-A's marketing budget is enormous, but much of it goes toward creating an image that doesn't always match reality. The company spends millions on advertising that emphasizes family values and community involvement while facing ongoing criticism for its actual practices. Environmental groups have criticized the company's packaging and waste practices. Despite claims about sustainability, most Chick-fil-A packaging is not recyclable, and the company has been slow to adopt more environmentally friendly alternatives. You might think you're getting good value at Chick-fil-A, but a closer look at their pricing strategy reveals some concerning practices that cost customers more than they realize. The portion sizes have been quietly shrinking over the years while prices have increased. That chicken sandwich you remember being bigger 5 years ago? It probably was. Former employees confirm that portion sizes have been reduced to maintain profit margins while prices continue to rise. But the real manipulation happens with the combo pricing. Chick-fil-A's combo meals are priced to make you feel like you're getting a deal, but the individual item prices are inflated to make the combo seem more attractive. You're not actually saving money. You're just buying more food than you might have intended. The sauce packets, which used to be free, now cost extra at many locations. This might seem like a small change, but it adds up quickly. A family of 4 can easily spend an extra $3 to $4 just on sauce packets for a single meal. Their app-based promotions are designed to collect your personal data while making you feel like you're getting special deals. The free items require you to make purchases you might not have made otherwise, and the app tracks your location and purchasing habits to build a detailed profile for marketing purposes. Dynamic pricing is becoming more common, where prices change based on location, time of day, and demand. A chicken sandwich might cost $4.50 during lunch rush, but $4.19 during slower periods, though most customers never notice these fluctuations. The premium pricing strategy positions Chick-fil-A as higher quality than other fast food chains, but the actual food costs are similar to competitors. You're paying extra for marketing and brand perception, not necessarily better ingredients or preparation. The health impact. Regular consumption of Chick-fil-A food can have serious health consequences that the company doesn't advertise. While they market some items as healthier alternatives, the reality is that most of their menu is loaded with sodium, preservatives, and processed ingredients. The high sodium content in their food can contribute to high blood pressure, heart disease, and other cardiovascular problems. Eating at Chick-fil-A regularly means consuming dangerous levels of sodium that exceed recommended daily limits. But the problems go beyond just sodium. The processed nature of their chicken means you're consuming antibiotics, growth hormones, and other chemicals used in industrial farming. While Chick-fil-A claims to source antibiotic-free chicken, former suppliers have revealed that this claim is misleading and doesn't account for all the chemicals used in processing. The high calorie content of most menu items contributes to obesity and related health problems. A typical Chick-fil-A meal can easily exceed 1,200 calories, which is more than half the daily caloric needs for many adults. The preservatives and artificial ingredients in their food have been linked to various health issues, including digestive problems, allergic reactions, and long-term health concerns. Many customers report feeling sluggish or unwell after eating at Chick-fil-A regularly. A nutritionist who studied fast food chains found that Chick-fil-A's menu has some of the highest sodium levels in the industry, despite their marketing emphasis on quality ingredients. Here's what all of this adds up to. Chick-fil-A has built a billion-dollar empire on marketing and brand perception rather than actual food quality or corporate responsibility. They've convinced millions of customers that they're getting something special, when in reality, they're getting processed fast food with a premium price tag. But you have the power to make informed decisions. Every time you choose where to spend your money, you're voting for the kind of business practices you want to support. Every time you ask questions about ingredients or demand transparency, you're pushing companies to do better. The solution isn't necessarily to never eat fast food again. It's to be aware of what you're actually getting for your money and to make choices that align with your values and health goals. Look for restaurants that are transparent about their ingredients and sourcing. Support businesses that treat their workers fairly and pay living wages. Choose companies that are honest about their practices rather than those that rely on marketing to cover up problems. Your health, your money, and your values matter more than convenience or brand loyalty. Don't let clever marketing convince you to compromise on what's important to you. The next time you're craving a chicken sandwich, remember what you've learned here today. Because when it comes to fast food choices, the truth should always be on the table. If this video opened your eyes to what's really happening at Chick-fil-A, hit like and subscribe to Truth on the Table. We're committed to exposing the reality behind popular food chains so you can make informed decisions about what you eat and where you spend your money. And remember, just because it's popular doesn't mean it's good. Just because it's marketed as premium doesn't mean it's quality. And just because they say, "my pleasure," doesn't mean they have your best interests at heart. The truth about fast food isn't always what we want to hear, but it's always worth knowing.